Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Queenie. For those who don't know me, reviewing Love is Blind Season 6, Episode 13, The Reunion. Before we get into it, please make sure to like this video, subscribe and hit the bell, and leave a comment down below. A few housekeeping things. One, the face is beat. You see it. You see it. I don't know who knows this, but I do have a second channel and I will be posting what I did for this look on that page. So if you want to go support me over there, please do. We also have a Discord, which I don't really advertise much, especially when Love is Blind is airing because it gets a little bit hectic over there. But if you go into the description box below, there is a link to Discord if you want to hang out with us. We have watch parties, games night, talk about random stuff, share food, fitness regimens, all kinds of things. Okay, head over there if you want to hang out with us. Shout out to some of the people on Discord who want the shout outs. Combat and Shantae, how y'all doing? And speaking of shout outs, one lovely lady's boyfriend hit me up and asked me to give a shout out to you. So I would like to do that right now. I feel so cool. Like, oh my gosh, shout outs, whatever. I hope I say your name correctly. Oiku. Shout out to you. Thank you for supporting. My international audience has really pulled up this season. So thank you for watching. Thank you everybody who's tuned in this season. Let's get into the drama. The episode was long. This reunion could have easily been 2 parts, but I'm glad it wasn't. So yeah, I'll give them that prop. Also, Vanessa and Nick did not piss me off this time around, y'all. I think they did the things of the things, okay? We start with them. I feel like they're the least significant couple of all the couples on the show, but we know they're the main event. They're in the pods because that is where the reunion is being filmed. They're there with all of the castmates that mean something, along with former couples who are Alexa and Brennan, Brett and Tiffany, Chelsea and Kwame, Colleen and Matt. We also have Giannina, who was with a guy from The Bachelor, and then 2 singles, Izzy and Micah. So Johnny and Amy are asked how married life is, and apparently their families have merged into one, and it's a very beautiful thing that's going on.
My dad calls his dad all the time. Oh. We've traveled together. We've gone to visit his family.
Oh, yep.
Christmas in Charlotte, okay. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
It's very nice to see that married life has been good to them. They also say, I think later on in the episode, that they still haven't had a big bust up. They do have their disagreements, obviously, as people do, but they seem to be getting along very well. Then the show wants to do these quick little recaps with the other couples. And I'm sorry, respectfully, if y'all wanted to do a Love is Blind reunion special, you should have made it separate. Because I don't care. Why do I need to know that Giannina is torn between a spicy and a pasty name for her baby boy? I don't care. Like, I don't care. So anytime that happens, I may say it, like I may note it, but just know I don't care. All right, moving on. Jeremy says that he is seeing somebody. As we know, it is Sarah Ann. They are now living together, but if you look at them, honestly, it's kind of giving they just started dating a week ago. It's a little bit awkward, if you ask me. He addresses his ex fiance. I spoke about this in our tea video. This is the lady who has a child and who he was living with before selling his house and going on the show. He still denies the story that's going around from the lady's mother, and he says that he was indeed single and not living with the lady once he decided to accept the invitation to go on Love is Blind and everything that followed therein. So Laura is called into the equation and she weighs in on the location sharing debacle.
Why on earth did you lie about your location after you shared it with Laura?
Nothing inappropriate happened. We did hang back and continue to talk afterwards. The only time I was ever at Sarah Ann's house is when I went to go drop her off. I didn't intentionally lie about that. I did share my location.
And then forget?
No, I just didn't have anything to hide.
I mean, I freaked out. For him to go meet her behind my back, I just knew it was sketchy. You're a clown, okay? You're
I never
sitting here
apologized.
lie after lie after lie after lie.
You're the pick me girl.
Right,
You're the
stop.
pick me.
Let's-
You're the pick me girl. Don't even start. You saw me
You're
crying.
saying
My heart broken.
I'll have my moment.
So me personally, and Vanessa brought it up, I'm glad that she caught it. The question still stands on why you felt it was important to lie about your location. Jeremy. Apparently this location thing is something that gets him in trouble a few times. We talked about that in another T video. One of his other that same ex-fiance said that she caught him in a cheating situation via location sharing. So why he lied, we still don't know. He and Laura don't agree on whether or not he decided to tell Laura right away where he was with Sarah Ann. They also disagree about something else. They disagree on whether Jeremy told Sarah Ann that he would end the relationship with Laura, but Sarah Ann said that at the beach get together. So I don't know why he's now denying it. That was weird to me. Then Sarah Ann barks up. She says that she is not a pick-me when literally the DM she sent was basically, hey, if things don't work out with Miss Girl, come and pick me, pick me, pick me. She's like, you said I'm a pick me girl, Laura? You're the pick me girl. You are literally a pick me. You literally sent him a message requesting that he picks you, sister. I don't know where the dissociation is, but Sarah Ann and Jeremy live in a different reality. It's going to make no sense for us to try and understand where they're coming from. But yeah. Then we see a clip of Sarah Ann and Laura talking on the beach. Sarah takes no accountability, in my opinion, when it comes to impeding on another person's relationship.
I am sorry if I hurt you in any way. I really am, because I don't want you to think that I came to ruin your relationship. I'm just gonna send it and get it off my chest and move on with my life.
Yeah.
That's really what the intent was, and I hope you know that. Like,
Do I think the message was disrespectful? I do.
Yeah.
I did. I was like, as a woman to woman, but I was like, at the end of the day, he made the commitment to me. Since that night happened last Saturday, all he's been fucking talking about is his image and how he looks worse than Jimmy.
Everybody else picked me up that day, and Jeremy said, at least I can sleep tonight knowing Jimmy's the villain. That's how you viewed me.
No, I understand that. And if I did say that to you, I'm sorry for saying that to you, because it was not meant to be anything serious.
This is like a lot.
you guys iced me out of a group chat.
Nobody was mean to you.
Somebody
Nobody was
iced
mean
me
to
out.
you.
Both of you could have handled the situation more respectfully.
Absolutely.
And just simply just show some consideration.
It's very clear that Laura's energy is directed more to Jeremy than anybody else, which it should, because he was the one in the relationship. However, I would love to know what Sarah Ann's response would have been if somebody asked her how she would have handled another woman asking her fiance if the door was still open with them. Because experiment or not, if it ends in a true legal marriage, I have to also respect that the engagement is a true engagement. That is a violation. That is wrong to do. So the fact that she doesn't acknowledge that, to me, is just so weird. She did, however, start to take accountability when she saw that Jeremy was like, okay, yeah, I am sorry for this. This was wrong to say. This was wrong to do. It's like, oh, so y'all are not going to be both barking in the same corner. She had to, hide her tail between her legs too and start apologizing after Jeremy was apologizing. Then apparently Jeremy brought Jimmy's name into the conversation. Jimmy was very visibly annoyed that Jeremy was trying to paint him as the villain. It turns out that Jimmy doesn't really rock with Jeremy like that. It seems as if nobody really rocks with Jeremy. We know for a fact nobody rocks with Sarah Ann, because apparently Sarah Ann unfollowed all the ladies but kept following their men. Wild. Why would you do that? But anyways, she doesn't talk to any of the ladies, and they have no desire to talk to her. So there's that. The question is asked if Jeremy has been seen by any of the cast members, and apparently the relationship with Sarah Ann is not as peachy as they're trying to make it seem.
Every time I see him, they're broken up.
Yeah.
You said they're broken.
Yes, we've had our ons and offs. We've had our ups and downs. We've had times where we've contemplated.
He posted a video saying, and I quote, "This is reality television. It's meant to entertain you, and that's exactly what we're doing. We didn't miss."
I don't think for a second that anything between us is fake.
To throw out there so casually, this is entertainment. We didn't miss with this one, baby.
But is it safe to say that the relationship you're currently in is
real?
This relationship was definitely built on a shaky foundation to begin with, so I'm not surprised that they have been on and off for a little bit. For him to say our solution was moving in together, maybe that's not what he said, but that's how I interpreted it. That after their on and off stuff, they just decided maybe it was better to live together. Okay, that's something. Not surprised that things are murky. Not surprised that Sarah Ann just sees this all as entertainment. I feel like both of them, for the most part, were more smug now more than ever. But like I said, eventually they started being a little bit more apologetic. As for Laura, you guys know my sympathy doesn't stretch that far, because I do believe that Laura had her own pitfalls that we just don't pick at enough because Jeremy's offense was just so great. But at the end of the day, Jeremy and Sarah Ann disrespected Laura's relationship, point blank and the period. She says that she's moved on to somebody else, so good for her. Laura brought up the bean dip situation, and I love that she did that because she didn't wait for the hosts to bring it up. She said, hold on, let me address it. I do apologize. Jeremy also apologized for bringing it up in the first place because that isn't something to joke about. My main issue with the bean dip is how they diminished the impact of that kind of a comment, especially to a Black person. Okay? I would have felt the same way if it was a Native American person because a lot of our history is kind of similar. So that's my biggest issue with that. But I did appreciate the apology. Now she's owning it completely. Thank you. Thank you very much. Moving on. Trevor comes out. This was the best part for me. They jump straight to the scandal with Trevor. And this man was literally at a loss for words.
Trevor says, I hope you know how much I love you and had to pretend that this wasn't real life.
I had a whole thing planned to say. I was not dating her technically. Like, I never said, will you be my girlfriend before.
You're saying I love you.
Yes.
To this woman as you're entering the experiment, as you're entering the pots.
Yes. I'm toxic as well. I admit that. Like, I need a lot of, like, therapy. I did come here for good and bad reasons.
So, Trevor, I know you asked to leave. You can leave now, man.
Oh my God.
Trevor comes out and he says, you know, I had something planned to say. Yeah, we know you like plans. We know you like plans. He denies being in a serious relationship with Miss Girl, but on the outside, he was basically saying he's ready to marry her. He accepts the fact that he's a toxic person and he needs a lot of help and he needs to go to therapy and I'm sorry. I'm not believing the accountability trip that he's going on right now. Absolutely not. Cook him even more. And they do. So what is asked? He said that he came on the show because he wanted to get with somebody who was outside of his typical type. Sir, what was your plan coming out of the show if you had actually gotten engaged with someone? Obviously, you were going to leave them at the altar. So even that is BS. You had no intentions of being with somebody fully. Let's be honest about that. But he's saying, you know, he wasn't really committed to that girl. What's her name? Nara? Whatever the girl is. He wasn't really committed to her that deeply, whatever. Please, we're not buying it, okay? He says that, oh yeah, he needs a lot of therapy. I can only imagine how toxic his relationship would have been with Chelsea. If this man claims that he is just so toxic, I assume it would be worse than Jimmy. That would have been madness. So, the cast doesn't really say much on the matter. They just don't support Trevor's actions. And they also don't think it was, the relationship was not as serious as Trevor's trying to make it seem, especially because the girl was in cahoots. You had to have some kind of relationship for her to go along with this. Like, yeah, then when we're done, you know, we're going to be, I don't know what their plan was, but I hope one day he atones for all of this. And I hope that he explains these threats that he allegedly sent to Miss Girl, because that's crazy. We're threatening people now. Insane. Also, I have a lot to say about Trevor. Him saying he did not plan to come on the show basically to be an influencer. He came with good intentions. He said, and bad intentions. He came, when the season started, he already had his management in his bio on Instagram. He already had all these videos queued up of, look, I'm the nice guy. Oh, I'm so good. Oh, my poor dog died. And sure, rest in peace to your dog. My dog died. Look at me. What was me? Please. Not buying it. Y'all know I wasn't buying it. I'm so happy. So anyways, apparently a couple that we were buying was AD and Clay. Nick and Vanessa say that we were all rooting for them. I don't know who we all are, but Okay. They talk about what happened post the wedding, but they're a little bit vague on the information.
A lot of weeks went by before we spoke.
So who contacted who first to get together?
Call me, duh. Call me.
I kind of battle with like the morality of like, am I a good person? Am I a bad person? AD really seen me through. She's honestly the love of my life. And I would tell you, honestly, I did make a mistake. I apologize. I love you. You are the love of my life, and it was a mistake.
Would you ever date her again?
1000%.
You played in my face, Clay, because you knew you didn't want to get married.
That's not true.
Then why are we not married?
I disrespected AD. I love her, and it hurts that you don't even think that, you know, so.
So they're trying to make it seem like things are over between them, but the way that AD gets so emotional hearing Clay say certain things makes me think if they didn't already try something, the door is still open. She says it's not, but I don't know. Let's go through the things that he says. He says that he is in therapy. AD is the love of his life. To me, it feels like he still doesn't understand that AD was basically an emotional punching bag for him. And that's not fair for anybody in a relationship. I'm glad that he had this development, but at what expense, you know? They're asked if they would get back together. She said, next question. He said yes. There was a reaction that came out of her when he said yes. So that's what makes me think, oh no. I want to know if they tried to make things work. That question was not asked. I feel like, Vanessa, you dropped the ball on that one. You're typically very nosy. Like, come on, sis. Give me the tea. Give me the tea. He starts to cry, and I'm not going to lie to you. I do want to have empathy. And I do, but only to a certain extent. When it comes to a relationship, I do believe that Clay knew emotionally he was not in a place to entertain anybody, let alone an engagement, let alone a marriage. So for him to say, you know, oh, this was a game time decision. Oh, I learned from watching the show that I wasn't ready. He came in with a spiel already of why he wasn't ready. And throughout the season, we kept hearing different reasons as to why he wasn't ready for this. So when it comes to your relationship with AD, I'm sorry, I don't have sympathy. Now, I will be honest, when he talks about his personal life and what he has been going through, that's where my heart breaks for him. The man is broken. The man is truly broken. And it's so sad to see. It really is. I can say that he tried to work through his own stuff. And I wish that it wasn't at the expense of AD. And I hope that now seeing himself back, he does realize that was messed up. I mean, he does. I don't even have to hope. He does know that was messed up. He said he's now in therapy. He tried a few therapists until he found somebody that was great. The Lachey's ask how the relationship with the family is. He says that, you know, the family's still working through some stuff. The dad hasn't issued an apology to Clay as an explicit, I'm sorry for A, B, C, and D. However, Clay says in his own way, he has apologized. And in as much as that sounds great, I think that it is good Clay has taken a lot of the initiative to unpack a lot of his baggage, but a big component to that is hearing his dad say, I'm sorry. Explicitly saying, I am sorry. Or to witness his dad become the man that he wished he was throughout his childhood. Because until that last little bit of his dad is tackled, I think there's always going to be some kind of residue of that, let's call it trauma for lack of a better term right now, in Clay. That's what I believe. So on a personal level, I do feel for Clay. On a relationship level, you knew you shouldn't have been in a relationship. You knew you shouldn't have strung that girl along. She knew she could have asked more questions and chosen and chose to exit earlier. But anyways, here we are. Clay also said that the husband he was referring to when he watched back Love is Blind was Brett. Brett also gets a little bit emotional because he didn't have a lot of role models of good, healthy relationships in his life. So it's a good thing that he met Tiffany. Tiffany brings out that side of him. He credits a lot of who he is as a husband to her. She says that he's doing great. It was just nice to see. Of all the updates, that one was the one that I was like, oh, so nice. And hopefully now, if Clay is looking for a mentor, Brett is there, you know? Never know. So we get a recap of Johnny and Amy's relationship. Didn't really care about that. Then we get some audience questions. I'm going to focus on what was important to me, okay? Johnny and Amy talk about condoms being an option in their various birth control conversations. The impression that I get from Johnny is he's one of those guys who feels like, I can't even say who feels like, because it is true. It does feel different with and without the condom. So I think he's just one of those guys who would rather hit it raw because, the condom kind of changes the experience, but he don't want to say that. They also don't want to say what resolution they came to, but they have come to a resolve. So good for them. Another question was regarding Jess and Chelsea's relationship. Apparently they are besties. Jessica did apologize for the conversation at the bar with Laura. She does admit that was out of line. Good for them. Jimmy is then asked how he felt about his friend being exposed on TV, and it's clear that he's still upset about it.
They came on to support me. They came on to be a friend to her, and one of them is really pissed off at me for mentioning it. She had an ex-boyfriend that she still hangs out with. She mentioned
I don't hang out with him.
Who thinks that a secret shared in confidence shouldn't have been repeated on camera?
In my opinion, I believe that Chelsea during the show was manipulative, whether it was, what's the word, deliberate or otherwise. I do feel like it was manipulative, and it is manipulative to use private information as ammo in your relationship. Whether or not it was said on camera, let's remove the camera aspect, because I think that's what people are focused on. Some people are like, well, she was in the heat of the moment. She just said what was on her mind. Even she was saying, I didn't even notice the cameras were there. Like, I just said it. If somebody is vulnerable with you, and you then turn around and use that vulnerability against them in an argument, that's not right. That's not right. This person is confiding in you, whether or not you believe this is something that is as important to you as it should be to them. That's what they think. They think this is important information. They don't want this to be thrown back in their face. And you accepted that conversation. She accepted the fact that he had slept with one of his friends. Like, that's the thing that I feel like some of the people, even in my comments, are missing. Is it weird that he is friends with somebody who he has slept with? To some people, it is. However, Chelsea was told, and Chelsea accepted that truth. From there on, you cannot then throw it in his face as an issue when it's convenient for you. That's not how that works. So, But anyways, they're all chilling, so fine. Where am I in my notes? They bring Jessica into the conversation. Did y'all notice how Jimmy reached over and rubbed Chelsea's leg? I'm like, hold on, what's going on there? Anyways, she says that things were done romantically when they met up at the beach. She had an affection to the person who she knew in the pods. However, in real life, she claims things were done romantically. Apparently, post the show, things are also now done for them platonically.
Hey, girl. I want to take it back to the lake party.
It was an unspoken thing that we knew it wouldn't have worked.
Obviously there was a ton of chemistry between the two of us, and we, when we connected, it was more of a friend thing.
Are you and Jimmy friends?
I thought we were. I saw an interview that you did recently, and I was infuriated to just, I guess, make an attempt at throwing me under the bus, but also just flat out bold-faced lie. And then you said, I'm really proud of the edit that she had. It wasn't an edit. It wasn't. No one did me any favors.
They get into this long back and forth about him saying things that she felt were unfavorable to her in different interviews. She says that she handled every conversation in interviews with grace. I haven't seen any interviews, so I don't know. But I had seen her comment on something, replying to Jimmy saying, well, this is how you talk about your friends on interviews. Basically, don't slag off your friends because that's not fair. Their disagreement is whether or not Jessica stormed out in one of their dates. They gave us the receipts. Love is Blind gave us the receipts, and it does seem like they agreed to take a break. I don't know. It's clear that he he won't admit, but he does have an issue with the fact that she is a mom. I don't think that was a responsibility that he was ready for. But his main point is her conflict resolution skills were ones that he was not willing to deal with. I think that she's very direct and he's not ready for that because he's avoidant. He is avoidant. He only became direct with Chelsea because she got on his last nerve. So yeah, their conflict resolution skills were never going to match. Even him and Chelsea's weren't going to match. But it seems like as friends, they are getting along very well. In my previous video, I told y'all that they've been out here on some kind of tour. Again, it was giving promo, but all right. Miss Chelsea, who said she doesn't go out, was going out quite a bit with Jimmy. So that's interesting, but let's move on. Chelsea talked about the Megan Fox comment, and she says it was a silly comment that slipped out. Babe, you brought up the celebrity lookalike conversation. And then the fact that people tell you you look like Megan Fox or you remind them of Megan Fox, and then in this conversation you're going to say, I mean, like MGK's what, girlfriend, wife, like you don't really, you know. We know what you're doing. We know what you're doing. No, she did not explicitly say that she believes she looks like Megan Fox. However, she was painting a picture. And it did add to whatever perception that Jimmy had. Let's be honest about that. So, either way, she's taking the comments from the internet on the chin. So, we are moving on. They then showed clips of Zach and Bliss's baby shower. Don't care. Moving on. Brittany and Kenneth are asked about their engagement. I felt like some things could have been answered more. I think there could have been more questions from Nick and Vanessa. However, these two handled things gracefully.
Did either of you just want to, like do it?
My thing is that is a supplement and it's an addition to, and it didn't really need to be tested out to figure out where we were at.
When you guys got back from the DR, when you watched it back, did you realize that you were so into your device?
I'm a very on-the-grounds principal, so what that means is I'm like in classroom, in the hallways. They're not used to having that big lapse of absenteeism with me and their communication.
Kenneth didn't address why he was distant in the breakup conversation. As we know, the rumor mill is saying that this was a reenactment anyway, so it could be that he just didn't care to be there. His reasoning is, everybody processes things differently. Okay, well, walk us through your process. I'd like to know. I'd also like to know, when did things fall apart for either of them? Because neither Nick or Vanessa asked that. There was clearly a disconnect that happened between them. Was it the race thing? Was it an attraction thing? Is it other stuff that I'm not going to talk about, but y'all have seen the rumors? Like what is it? We don't know. What we do know is that these two are very friendly with each other. Apparently they talk to each other every single day. Interesting. They are not dating people, but they do have a plan on how to navigate their friendship when they include significant others. So interesting. Then they run some footage of Matt. Matt has declined to come to the reunion. However, we finally get to see what he was saying to both Ambers.
I thought I knew yesterday who I was here for. After today with you,
Yeah?
I am not sure. Because I don't want to tell something to somebody else and then tell you something. Like, I'm just not going to do that. I would tell him I'm not doing it unless I talk to her dad.
It wasn't that he was saying the same thing to both of us. It was the fact that I had shared something so intimate. Like, I won't have my future husband get to ask, for my hand in marriage. That's what really rocked me, because I was like, well, my story is obsolete then. Matthew kind of cute. Like, low-key, he's cute, y'all. Like, respectfully.
No, it's not.
Okay.
It's not. She told me that she met with Matthew.
Okay.
He ended up cooking me dinner.
How was his cooking? Is he a good cook?
It was rice and chicken. And he just wants different things, and so do I, and we left it right there.
So I will say, do I think that he was saying the same thing to both women? Not necessarily, but he was giving both women the impression that they were the only option. So, still shiesty. AD met up with that man. AD met up with that man. The man cooked for her, so she was at his home. She went where he resides. Was it just what else happened? And again, she kept looking over for like reactions from Clay, and I'm thinking, girl, what? If y'all ain't together, if y'all not trying to get together, who cares? Who cares what he think? Like, something's going on there. They don't want to tell us, and that's fine. They don't have to tell us, but something's going on there. I believe it. Anyways, things didn't go too far with Mr. Matthew, and yeah, we're probably not going to hear from him after this. Moving on. The episode ends with them talking about The Perfect Match Season 2 coming. I don't think they gave a date. However, Izzy, Micah, and Jessica are going to be on the show. We know through the grapevine... Yeah, it's bedtime. We know through the grapevine that Trevor is actually going to be there as well. However, it seems like Love is Blind doesn't want to claim him right now. So that'll be interesting. I said in season 1 of Perfect Match that I was not going to review season 2. I didn't know that it was going to come with all this tea. So I'm definitely going to review season 2, just so you guys know. Love is Blind also does not want to be liable for all of these rumors about them not feeding people. So they had a whole smorgasbord of food to feast on after the show. This season seems to just be filled with a lot more rumors than legal issues. So good for the show, I guess. I also did hint to reviewing other versions of Love is Blind. Love is Blind Habibi is coming out. That one, I don't know. I cannot promise that I will review it. However, Love is Blind UK, absolutely. So stay tuned for that. Follow my other channel. I mean, you can still stick around. I do other shows as well. Y'all could also suggest other shows you would like me to review. Like, comment, share, and subscribe. And I'll see you in the next one.